The story begins at night on the Tianwu continent, in Baiyun City, Family E. Robbers rush into the courtyard and shout at Yi Yun that he is useless and ask if he is dead. We see manager Fang Hu of the Yi family and his 2 guards. The manager himself appears to us as a tall man with a fan in his hands, wearing a gray-green cloak. He says that if he is still alive, then let him crawl here. After that, we see our hero, who is sitting exhausted on a chair. We learn that our hero was poisoned with a large dose of strong poison. But because of the 9th body tempering, our hero is still alive. But Fang Hu says that as a member of the Yi family, he will send our hero on his way with a direct hit. You can see how he looks down on our hero after we saw Yi Yun, and how blood was flowing out of his mouth. Then the manager shouts attack. One of the robbers tells the young master that he has no choice and prepares to deliver a strong blow with a katana, while telling him not to blame him for his heartlessness. But our hero grabs that hand. Not expecting this, the robber shouts what? After they break his arm, we see a pool of blood. He falls screaming in pain and says, "My hand, my hand." After that, Yi Yun says what to do first, and then say, while he is completely fine despite the poison. We see a half-dead bandit moaning in pain. Fang Hu asks Yi Yun why he is still on his feet with his injuries and severe poisoning. The second bandit can be seen wondering how he killed his partner in 1 hit. The 2 remaining bandits look at him in fear, and Fang Hu asks how Yi Yun recovered his cultivation. The young master lets us in on the backstory. He was an ordinary high school gamer, but one day he woke up and found himself in the body of a young master of the Yi family from Baiyun City with the same first and last name as him. He felt a painful sensation in his new body. He realized that he was poisoned, and the residual memories pointed to Yi Kun, the eldest son of the Yi family. Yi Yun can be seen looking at the napkin completely covered in blood. Already falling, he spat blood and thought that he would die immediately as soon as he moved here. But suddenly, there were notification windows, where on one it was written, "Notification." The multiverse devouring system is selected by the user and activated automatically. There were also yes or no buttons. Our hero was puzzled by this. Trembling, he pressed yes again. After that, it gets the strength of all windows. It is written that the characteristics panel has been activated, as well as storage spaces. After that, a window appears where it is written that the poison is neutralized, and 800 experience points are credited. After a moment, a large window with its characteristics appears. Host, Yi Yun. Cultivation Realm. The 3rd stage of body tempering. 1,001,000 experience points. Weapon no technique inherited, Faiyun art, advanced yellow rank. Fire poison palm martial art advanced mysterious rank. Shaking step and roaring sound wave advanced yellow rank. Our hero is puzzled and realizes that after absorbing the poison, his mountain palm technique has improved into a higher level technique. We are transported back to where Fang Hu is shouting who helped activate his cultivation. He's very angry, and you can see the worry in his eyes. The robber behind me is trembling with fear, but Yi Yun smilingly says that the heavens couldn't tolerate a scumbag like Fang Hu and sent an extremely powerful ability, super thick golden finger. After these words, the manager tremblingly asks what he wants. Yi Yun understands that his body has not yet recovered, and he is physically weak and wants to end this problem as soon as possible. A notification window appears in front of him, where it says that the current strength of the host has been analyzed, and a newbie gift package has been issued. I was asked to open the package now or not. Yi Yun's mind asked what he was waiting for and opened it. He gains the extremely powerful divine ability, million-point attack speed, but at the current cultivation level, he can't use it fully, and that the host will be able to achieve a higher speed after improving the cultivation realm. Yi Yun is delighted that this world values the speed of martial arts above all else, and that this ability will greatly enhance its combat power. Fang Hu tells the second rogue to attack while he is still. But before Yi Yun can turn around, he grabs the manager's shoulder, and the manager doesn't understand what's going on. Then he says, triple attack speed, fire poison palm, and there is a huge explosion, and Fang Hu flying across the courtyard is slammed into the wall and falls dead. Yi Yun walks out of the ash mist, saying that he is impressed with this technique and understands that his explosive power has increased with increasing speed. The injured Fang Hu barely says where did he get such speed and power. Yi Yun says that he still doesn't know much about it, and that he should ask Yan Wan about it. Yan Wan is the god of death and king of hell in Buddhism, and get some clarity from him. While grabbing his head, a dark flame appears, and Fang Hu shouts and asks where his cultivation is and what he has done. After a few seconds, the notification window, absorption completed successfully. The owner has received 300 experience points, appears. The remaining highwayman approaches and shivers as he says that he was wrong. But Yi Yun ignores his words and says that he's next, and it's his turn. We are shown the stats panel, where the number of points has changed from 100 to 600 out of 1,000. A divine ability also appeared. The attack speed is 1 million, as well as a demonstration of tripled attack speed. We are transported to the periphery of the Black Moon mountain range. Yi Yun is barely able to cope with a rather large boar, while smaller boars are standing nearby, alarmed and trembling. They are afraid of him. Yi Yun breathlessly says that he finally got over it, and realizes that his stamina is almost over. After he says, "Absorb," a black flame appears, and a notification window appears with congratulations on absorbing the first order essence of the thick-skinned wild boar king, and that 100 experience has been gained. And it also says that Yi Yun has reached the 5th stage of body tempering. He is very happy that in 2 hard practices, he was able to advance from the 3rd tempering to the 5th, and he also learned a few new things. First, the absorption system works not only with cultivation, but also with pills, techniques, and spirit stones. We are shown Fang, whose body where Yi Yun pulls out 4 pills that he absorbs, and in the process of absorbing them, they can merge and give more high-grade pills directly in the body, thereby increasing the cultivation level. We are shown how they merge. After that, a notification window appears where it says that the absorption was successful, and that the first order pills have turned into second order pills. From then on, Yi Yun gained 500 experience points. Secondly, apart from the cultivation enhancement tools, demons can also be the main target for absorption. Demons from the 1st to the 9th rank correspond to the 9 stages of cultivation, and devouring demons can raise one's cultivation quite quickly. We are shown how Yi Yun deals with wild boars, and gets 50 experience points for each of them. But the target of absorption must be at the time of death, or if there are serious injuries. If the target dies, it is impossible to absorb. Also, if you consume inanimate creatures, your stamina will be restored. Yi Yun stretched out his palm and began to absorb the dark green matter while recovering. Yi Yun also says that the system has its own perception, and that it helps to avoid many problems. A notification window appears stating that a new group of demons has appeared 328 feet to the southwest. Yi Yun says that after killing these boars, he will reach the 5th stage of body tempering. We see him deal with all the boars, but he says that this is not enough to raise the level. Later that night, in the backyard of the Yi family estate, Yi Yun walks into the building tired, while wondering what kind of barrier appeared when he continued to kill the demons. He received a message that the inner circle is restricted, and in order to open it, it is necessary to combine the forces of the 3 main clans. But Yi Yun left that problem for tomorrow. He opens the door to the manor, and almost gets hit in the face with a dagger. But before he can react, he jumps to the right. He turns around and sees a group of people in raincoats, where one of them tells how Yi Yun dared to kill his people, and says that he is impudent. Death and murderous intent can be seen in his eyes. This was Yi Kun, the elder's son, and he had the 6th stage of body tempering. Yi Yun says his name and remembers in his head that all the cultivators, except Yi Kun, have reached the 7th body tempering. Yi Kun mentions the corpse poison he got from the southern borders, and is surprised that he didn't finish it off. So, where is he concerned that Yi Yun was able to reach the 5th body tempering in just 2 days? But he dismisses it, and says that heaven has given him an opportunity. Then he pounces on Yi Yun, but at the same moment the young master takes him by the hand. Not expecting such a speed, Yi Kun does not have time to do anything. And a second later, Yi Yun breaks his arm. A loud crunch thundered, and after it the screams of the robber leader. After that, the other 2 ran to help Yi Kun. Yi Kun calls Yi Yun a beast and promises to kill him, but the young master drags him through and breaks his knee. We see the bone break, and after kicking the ground with his foot, an infernal scream is released, and Yi Kun begins to cry in pain. Immediately, one of the robbers comes up and tells Yi Yun to hand him over, so he did, and he kicked him into the crowd, and at the same time, everyone fell down. The young master says that he didn't know what to do after killing the demons, but starts to smile and say that they themselves came to give the experience. I can see the fire in his eyes. Yi Kun is shouting for Yi Yun to be taken alive, because a certain gentleman wants to personally say goodbye to him. The remaining bandits get up and go into battle, but Yi Yun rushes into the crowd with lightning speed and quickly neutralizes everyone. The last remaining robber does not understand how Yi Yun so quickly coped with everyone, and where did he get such speed while having the 5th body tempering. But before he knew it, he already managed to grab his throat young master and throws it on the ground. Yi Kun in fear does not understand how this is possible and asks him not to approach while holding his broken arm. Yi Yun slowly walks towards him, mocking the fact that he likes to poison people. The leader of the robbers once again shouted, "Do not approach," but it was too late. Yi-yun grabbed him and used the fire poison palm technique. But this time there was no explosion. Instead, he started to burn and yell in pain, saying that he didn't have the guts to kill him. Otherwise, one day he will find and avenge this humiliation. Yi-yun says that he won't be able to do this anymore and starts absorbing. Dark matter engulfs Yi-kun, and all of his cultivation disappears. After a few seconds, the system window appears, where it says that the absorption is completed and 500 experience points have been received. There is also another window with congratulations on raising the 6th stage of body temperate, after Yi-yun says that we will pay him back for what he did, but only tenfold, and then orders him to get out of his yard. He asks if Yi-kun understood him, but he lies in fear and exhausted, unable to answer him. We are being transported to the manor of a Yi family elder from Bayun City. There are wounded soldiers lying everywhere, and one of them asks that a message be sent as soon as possible about the elder's speedy return. In the distance, Yi-yun can be seen with several corpses lying behind them. Not only had he absorbed a lot of cultivation on this trip, but he had also found the key to the great elder's treasury. Due to the large amount of cultivation absorbed, Yi-yun is surrounded by dark matter. The key looks like an emerald-colored rune. He remembers how he killed Yi-kun's Danshin, and realizes that his father will come back for revenge someday. We are shown Yi Chang, Yi-kun's father, an elder of the Yi family, as well as a second-degree master of the Blood Kai Monastery. He looks like an old man with an excellent body. He has gray hair, but this does not prevent him from looking menacing. And he is also dressed in a red robe with flame sides. Even with his previous body tempering, Yi-yun isn't ready for a battle with him. He's worried that it might happen pretty soon, so he has to prepare hard. A window appears stating that there is a large treasure 16 feet to the southeast. Yi-yun turns around and sees the way to the dungeon. After passing through the corridor, he inserts the key into the cell that fits the shape. After that, a giant door opened. Entering it, Yi-yun sees a mountain of gold and other jewels. Here you can see chests, scrolls, a lot of books, figures, and relics. Everything is very sparkling and shiny. He says that all the treasures of Chang that he has been saving up for all these long years will be his. Yi-yun starts absorbing all these treasures. Several notification windows appeared, which said that when absorbing various jewels, experience was gained, as well as combat techniques. Yi-yun eventually obtained the 9th level of body tempering. A status window opened, which changed a lot, and a new technique appeared in it, such as the spiritual radiance sword technique. Finishing the absorption, he says that taking pills is still more effective. But at this moment, he pays attention to the notification window that appears that a 3rd order spiritual weapon, spiritual execution sword, has been discovered. With the help of the Force, Yi-yun draws the weapon into his hands and says that this weapon can resist against martial arts in the abode of great masters. The sword is surrounded by blue flames. In the next second, he puts this weapon in the system storage. This storage is unlimited, and you can also store healing elixirs in case of an emergency. With a smirk, Yi-yun says that Yi Chang-gi will die from his own weapon. Later, he walks along the cliff road and says that it's time for him to get out of here, because there is practically nothing left to absorb. But at this moment, a stranger can be heard shouting from afar, saying that he has finally found the young master. This stranger turns out to be the Yi family's butler, Wumo. Yi-yun addresses him as uncle and asks what he is doing here. But in a hurry, the butler says that the head has returned, grabs Yi-yun's hand, and leads him along. We are shown the head dripping with blood. His name is Yi Wushwang. He is seriously injured. The butler standing next to him says that it's better for him to rest, and that nothing will happen to the young master. But the head says he won't rest until he sees it with his own eyes. Later, Yi-yun runs into the building and says, "Father." The father tries to say something to Yun-er in surprise, but because of the serious injuries, he starts coughing. Yi-yun walks over and asks his uncle what's going on and why his father is so badly injured. He begins to explain that after the young master was poisoned, his father went in search of an antidote. But in one of the sorties, he was seriously injured when fighting with demonic beasts in a dangerous fog swamp. But Yi Wushwang interrupts him and tells him to bring the mysterious elixir as soon as possible. It looks like a green sphere that glitters. Father says that it will get rid of 30% of the poison. We learn that it is a 2nd order elixir that will remove some of the poison and increase the cultivation level. The head promises that he will do everything to get rid of all the poison. Yi-yun is surprised that his father risked his life to find an elixir that only removes 30% of the poison. His father starts coughing up blood and tells him to take the antidote immediately. But Yi-yun thought about it and realized that he didn't deserve the kind of fatherly love that he was treated like a real son. At this point, his hand is wrapped in a transparent dark cloth, and he presses it to his father. Yi Washeng asks where his son got so much cultivation from, and later he realizes that his wounds have already healed. Yi Yun says that he received enlightenment from his mentor, and the poison has already left his body. He also says that he has reached the 9th stage of cultivation, and that father doesn't have to worry about him. He passes the healing elixir to his father, saying that he will return to normal after taking them. Perplexed, the father asks where he got this elixir, and whether it was the mentor who gave him this elixir. But Yi Yun is telling the truth that he robbed Elder Yi Chang's treasury, and also that he destroyed Yi Kun's danshan, so that he can't cultivate anymore. Everyone is stunned and perplexed, because Yi Yun didn't think about the consequences, and the servants thought that the master would be furious. But the head just started laughing. He started to praise his son, and that he didn't expect Yi Yun to be able to arrange something like this in his absence. The servants, not expecting such a reaction, began to say that it was not the time to praise him. But after that, he says that Yi Chang'e will not just leave it, and will definitely come to take revenge, and says that even having the status of the head of the Yi family, Yi Chang and chased him for many years because his cultivation stopped at the 1st degree of the Blood Kai Monastery. We are shown all of Yi Chang's associates. They are all other elders. They joined in to overthrow Yi Washeng as the head of the Yi family. He says that we should be extremely careful because there may be attempts on our lives. At this moment, Yi Yun tells his father not to worry, because if they come here, he will personally make sure that they don't leave here alive. He says this with a smirk and sinister eyes. At this moment, there is a rumbling sound from the main gate, and 3 individuals appear, one of them asking if this is the head of the Yi family. It was the other elders that were shown earlier. One of them says that Grand Elder Yi Chang'e has ordered the entire family to come to the council hall immediately, and that there should be no delays. Yi Yun was not very happy when he heard this, and later on, we are taken to the council hall where we see the Grand Elder. He is dressed in a red robe, and next to him, there is an air of anger and unprecedented strength. On his left is a guard, and on the right are 3 people, where one is sitting on a chair, and the rest are standing in cloaks. And in the middle stands a man and says that Yi Yun beat up their guys, but also tortured young Master Kun. Then in the hall, there were people from the Yi family who only said that Yi Yun got into serious trouble, and that he will definitely die. And then loud words are uttered that he also took the key to the treasury and robbed her. The elder is so enraged that a giant flame is caught around him, and an unknown person asks the elder to punish the young master. After saying that, the elder turns around and shouts that he will tear Yi Yun to pieces. We are shown 2 assassins in gray robes. We are also shown the 2nd elder of the Yi family, Yi Ming, shouting that Yi Yun is a dirty and impudent scumbag, and how he dared to raise his hand against his close comrades while beating the table with his fist. In the next second, an explosion occurs at the main gate, so that some people just fly away. After that, everyone is concerned. The 2nd elder asks what right he has to cause trouble here. We are shown Yi Yun, who came here alone, saying that they were the ones who attacked first. Yi Chang says the young master's name in surprise, and says that the young master didn't even bow when he saw the supreme elder. But Yi Yun interrupts and says that he himself does not follow the rules, and has no right to teach him. Then he asks what he's worth, and if he even deserves a place in place of his father. Yi Chang'e was even more furious when he heard these words. Yi Yun scoffs, and says that his rightness has left the elder speechless. His father walks behind him, and asks if he's late. Yi Yun said that he wasn't late, and the show was about to start. Yi Washeng reproaches Yi Chang for trying to start a rebellion. Yi Chang chuckles, and says that Yi Washeng is just a mediocre person, and that he can't be the head of the Yi family without having something under his belt. After that, he raises his hands and says that only a capable person can occupy the post of the family, and then asks this from his entourage. They pressed their hands together, and began to say that only the Grand Elder could hold this position, and that they were willing to serve him. Yi Washeng asks the remaining elders why they don't want to fight Yi Chang'e, who apologetically say that the lives of their children and wives are in the Grand Elder's hands. Yi Chang'e says that if he kills his son now, then he will definitely spare his life. But Yi Yun quickly gets behind the elder's back and launches a fire poison palm strike. But the Supreme Elder managed to react quickly and used the dark wind palm technique. Everyone else is puzzled as to how he can fight an elder who has reached the 2nd degree of the Blood Kai abode on equal terms. The elder says that Yi Yun is and will never be able to defeat him. But at this moment, the young master uses the system storage to draw his sword, and delivers one precise blow to Yi Chang'e's torso. After that, the elder drops dead. He says what it means to die by your own sword, and at that moment one of the assassins is behind Yi Yun and makes a blow, but Yi Yun manages to dodge. The assassin says that Yi Yun not only maimed the family's favorite son-in-law, but also recklessly killed the elder, and says that Yi-yun Navajto does not put the Yi family. The head asks if Yi-yun is in order, and gets a positive answer. You can see that Yi-yun is worried and wary. We are initiated into one of the families that have taken a powerful position in Qingyang County, the Yang family. Yi-kun just recently also wanted to enter their family through marriage. The Grand Elder can be seen asking for this. Not only did the Yang family want to join forces with the Yi family, but they also demanded that all of their people give up their surnames as a side branch of the lineage. We are shown Yi-yun coming out of a cloud of smoke, saying that the old man was so arrogant, and maybe he wanted to appease the Yang family. After that, he says that although the Yi family is not so prestigious, but it will not sink so low to such a level. An assassin from the Yang family uses the technique, shrouds himself in a blue aura, and shouts that if Yi-yun cuts his throat, he will let his father die in peace without suffering. The second assassin tells his brother not to stand on ceremony and not talk nonsense, saying that now he will kill the and then his father. He starts using the technique, charging his sword with a green aura, and then shouts freeze, making a powerful blow with a swing. He pounces on Yi-yun and tells him to prepare for death, but Yi-yun stops the kick with his fingers. It can be seen that Yi-yun stopped him without even using half of his strength, and he didn't flinch or move away, like it was a baby's punch. Assassin doesn't understand what's going on. There's a look of incomprehension on his face. The thought flashes through his mind that how could Yi-yun stop such a strong blow without flinching? After a second, Yi-yun says that the third degree of the Blood Kai abode is not so strong that he expected much more power from this blow, and making a vertical strike kills the opponent. Before the blow, the assassin manages to let out a meticulous cry. Everyone in the hall was in disbelief. Someone was shouting, "How is this possible?" And someone said that Yi-yun was completely crazy, that he killed the Grand Elder, and then a member of the Yang family. The other assassin was terrified, as he watched his brother die in just one blow. Yi-yun started the takeover, and he reacted very calmly and said that he did the same thing that they did, that if someone wants to kill him, he will kill in return. He crossed his fingers and it flashed, and in the next second after saying that, he used the sword technique Spiritual Radiance, and 1,000 swords appeared similar to a spiritual sword. Everyone in the audience is stunned, because this is a high-level technique, and no one expected Yi-yun to be able to use it. After that, Yi-yun calmly says that those present have two options. Either they obey the head and worship him in loyalty, or he kills everyone and cuts them to pieces. After these words, fear for their lives hung over everyone present. After that, he turns to the remaining assassin and says that he is unlikely to give up and probably wants revenge. The assassin says yes. There was fear and worry on his face. Then Yi-yun snapped his fingers and attacked with all his swords. But the assassin managed to put up a circular barrier that protected him, but not for long. The barrier began to crack from the numerous blows, and the assassin knew that this was the end. That because the technique was so strong, the sword's energy was too much, and that it would no longer be able to hold back the barrier. And then the barrier shattered, and the remaining swords pierced through it. We are shown Yi-yun, who lights up and points his finger at him and says that he has chosen the right path for him. We are shown two brothers who are lying dead on the floor of the hall. After that, Yi-yun starts absorbing, and then a notification window appears where it says that the absorption was successful, and about receiving 60,000 experience points. After that, he receives the second degree of the Blood Kai Monastery, and then the third degree of the Blood Kai Monastery. We are shown two dead brothers, and their cultivation is being drained. After that, another notification window appears where it says that Yi-yun can use 5-fold attack speed. Yi-yun is very happy about this, and understands that he can now strengthen the attack with the transition to a new level of abode. Afterward, we are shown that some of the elders are looking at Yi-yun in alarm. One of them thinks about how Yi-yun became so strong, and how he was able to kill Grand Elder Yi Changmi and the two Yang family envoys, and they realize that he is too strong. There is only one outcome left for them, and that is service. Immediately, some of them prostrate themselves and are afraid to say anything, because they are waiting for the outcome, just like with the elder or the brothers of the Yang family. Yi-yun says that those who were forced to run errands for Yi Changki will be able to regain their dignity if they help get rid of the remnants of the traitorous group. He also says that the 5 elders and the compatibility of traitors, he will deprive of cultivation and ban in the dungeon for life. We can see that all 5 elders are not very happy with this decision. Fear is written on every face, and then they are taken prisoner. The second elder shouts that Yi-yun is too arrogant, and that he will quickly make strong enemies, and also that the entire Qingyang County would know about today, and that the Yang family would not ignore it, and that sooner or later, Yi-yun will destroy the Yi family as well. My father comes to Yun-Eru and asks if he is injured. Yi-Yun tells him not to worry about it, and that all of Chang's people have been removed, so no one will come after them. Father says that Yun-Er has grown up to be worthy, and that it is Yi-Yun who will take over as the head of Yi. But the young master, with a serious look, asks when the seal on the secret cave of the Black Moon will be lifted. Father says that the barrier will be removed when the three great powers unite, but only after 10 days, and asks why he needs such information. And we are initiated into the history of the secret cave of the Black Depth, that it is located in the deep part of the Black Moon mountain range, and it is home to many powerful demonic beasts. We are shown completely different demonic beasts. Some of them can't be described. We see a griffin, numerous crystals that are found everywhere, and also show us a dragon. There are also many rare and valuable treasures stored there, making it an ideal haven for martial artists to cultivate. In order to prevent the endless influx of martial artists, who would quickly exhaust all resources, the three great Bayun families sealed the cave 100 years ago, and agreed that the seal could only be removed once every 3 years. Once every 3 years, the great families can send their strong disciples to the cave to cultivate and collect treasures. The secret cave itself is filled with a spiritual aura. After Yi-Yun realizes that he needs to train more, there are a lot of Blood Kai masters in the current Yang family. Rumor has it that their eldest son, Yang Longjin, is at the peak of his Blood Kai domain. Yi-Yun understands that in order to fight, he needs to become stronger. In his eyes, you can see all the seriousness and purposefulness. And to do this, he will have to go to the secret cave of the Black Moon. We are transported to another area where there is a waterfall. We see Yi-Yang swimming towards the treasure under the water. Before that, he took the underwater breath pills and can safely stay at the bottom of the lake. An alert window appears saying that he will soon be swimming towards the treasure. Yi-Yun is getting closer to the treasure and calls it the spirit chest. It looked like a giant seaweed. By touching it, he gains 4,000 experience points, and by absorbing these treasures, he was able to ascend to the 3rd degree of the Blood Kai abode. We are shown the status window of Yi-Yun's stats. After that, he swims out of the water and swims to the shore. And later, he saw a beautiful girl, and he couldn't turn his eyes away. When she saw him, she was embarrassed and shouted, "Ah, pervert." After that, we see a stranger running after Yi-Yun, who says that she misunderstood everything, and that it was a misunderstanding. When Yi-Yun climbs to the shore, the stranger shouts that he is a creature, and it would be better for him to die. As she prepares to slap her palm, Yi-Yun says once again that this is a misunderstanding while grabbing her hand. But at that moment, she spits out a blood clot. Yi-Yun grabs her and anxiously asks what's wrong with her, and if everything is fine, she tells him to get off her. Then he sees a giant sword wound on his right shoulder. After some time, we see a giant gang of robbers running. The leader says that he found it and tells them to go on the attack. We see a formidable man who says that she knows how to run away. Then he tells Yi-Yun to get lost if life is precious, because this beauty is the target of the wild horse gang. Yi-Yun hugs the girl to him and remembers about this wild horse gang. They are a notorious gang of thieves and looters who hang around Bayan. They often loot cities and commit all sorts of crimes. The gang leader says that as soon as he pulls the saber out of its scabbard, Yi-Yun will be in trouble. But a second later, Yi-Yun appears from behind and says that he is the same, and makes a lightning strike. The leader drops dead. Blood splatters everywhere. The horse runs away, dropping all the jewels. After that, Yi-Yun says that everyone else is on the 1st degree of Blood Kai, and that they don't waste much time in vain. They didn't listen to him as they attacked him, but before they could do anything, they took turns dying at Yi-Yun's hands. After all this, Yi-Yun holds the girl in his arms. A notification window appears where it says that you can start absorbing 7 people, as well as a large number of things that were with them, and the system can absorb all this at once. Yi-Yun sees this option for the first time and immediately uses it, saying that it saves quite a lot of time. We see him stretching out his hand and absorbing everything at once. A notification window appears where it says that you have gained 220,000 experience, as well as reaching the 4th degree of the abode of Blood Kai. We see Yi-Yun leave with the girl in his arms. After a while, they are still together, and the stranger asks Yun to wait for her, and then thanks him for saving and healing her, and apologizes for misunderstanding the situation at the lake. She also introduced herself. Her name is Qin Miao. She asks his name and where he's from. He says that his name is Yi-Yun, and that he is from the Yi family of Bayun City. Yi-Yun says that Wild Horse's gang has committed various crimes, and that he would kill them for the sake of the common people as well. Qin Miao says that she is from the Kaiwun sect of Qingyang County. He came here with the elders to recruit outstanding students, and suggests Yi-Yun join as well. But at this time, Fireworks can be seen in the distance, indicating that something has happened. And before Yi-yun can finish listening, he runs away, saying that they will meet again. The girl asks Yi-yun to wait, but gets no response, and Yi-yun runs away. When we are transported to someone's estate, we see a lot of wounded and killed soldiers. Someone calls out our name and says that Yi-yun disrupted the wedding of the Yi and Yang families and killed 2 of his messengers. It turns out to be Young Kingmu, the general manager of the Yang family. He has the 6th degree of the abode of Blood Kai. He irritably says that he is quite bold for a loser who has lost his cultivation. Young Kingmu himself is depicted as a middle-aged man. He has green hair and green clothing. Behind him is an army of assassins from the Yang family. We are shown the injured head of the Yi family yelling at Yun to run away. Yi-yun tells Young Kingmu to start praying that his death will be quick and painless, and then he launches several quick, ranged attacks with his sword. All the assassins started to worry because the attacks were so fast that they didn't even see him make them, and some of them screamed in pain as their legs were cut open. Their screams were so loud and terrifying. Young Kingmu and the assassins were startled when they saw this. Despair and fear descended upon them. They didn't understand how Yi-yun had managed to land the blows in such a short time. Yi-yun sneeringly said that the Yang family is very slow in thinking. The entire Yang family group was concerned about Yi-yun's speed, and some started saying that they had never seen anything like it, and that his speed was top-notch. After Yi-yun went to his father and asked if he was okay, his father told him not to worry about him now, but to take care of the Yang family. Young Kingmu is perplexed because Yi-yun is only at the 4th degree of the Blood Kai abode, but his martial techniques are on a different level and can even be compared to the geniuses of the Yang family. Young Kingmu says that Yi-yun is worth something. Afterwards, Young Kingmu says that the Yang family doesn't care about Chang'e's death, and that he was just a puppet, and that if this place is replaced by Yi-yun, then he might spare the lives of the Yi family by pointing fingers at Yun. Yi-yun said with a smirk that a weakling like Young Kingmu was worthy of saying such things to the Yi family. Young Kingmu, not appreciating the audacity, takes a stance and uses the King Hong sword technique. His sword is enveloped in green flames, and then the entire field is enveloped in green rays. Yi-yun also uses the Spirit Execution sword, but then a stranger comes between them and says stop. He says that young people should listen to him. Young Kingmu then recognizes the stranger as Elder Q. All the assassins of the Yang family are shocked with this information. From their words, we learn that this is Elder Q Kingyun of the Kaiwan sect, and also that he is a master of the 1st stage of the Supreme Abode. Kaiwan is a prestigious sect, and it also includes many of the best royal-level martial artists. Elder Q appears as a man with a giant sword on his back. He says that he has come to return the favor to Mr. Yi. He also wants to personally ask if Yi-yun wants to join the Kaiwan sect. After saying that, the members of Yang's family don't understand why Yi-yun was offered such a place. We also learn that the Kaiwan sect only accepts disciples once every 100 years, and they must meet strict requirements. The elders won't just invite just anyone, and that this offer is so valuable that no one will refuse it. But Yi-yun refuses the offer, and says that he likes to train people and dogs himself. Young Kingmu seems to have fallen for the aggression, and was about to attack, but Elder Q stops him, asking if he understood what he just said. At the same time, the elder threatened to ask if the Yang family would not want to become an enemy of the Kaiwan sect. Young Kingmu said that he didn't want to become an enemy, but at this time, he felt the strongest power coming from the master of the Supreme Abode. He warns that if Yi-yun sets foot in Qingyang County again, he will personally remove his head, and then tells his assassin to leave. But Yi-yun asks if he allowed them to leave, saying that Kingmu should leave the hand that injured his father, and in the next second, he is standing behind Young Kingmu and preparing to strike. Just as Young Kingmu was getting smacked, the next moment Yi-yun took his hand and broke it. After Young Kingmu shouts, he lashes out at Yun, but at the same time, Yo-yun says that he made a mistake and should have taken his other hand and jumps up and breaks it. Elder Q looked on with a surprised look. Young Kingmu is already standing with 2 broken arms, but then says that he will never forget today's insult and will definitely take revenge. The assassin from the Yang family and Young Kingmu stand in horror, and then they leave. Young Kingmu says that he will pay back twice as much in the future. Yi-yun says with a smirk that he's not like that and Young Kingmu isn't that capable. And then the entire army of assassins leaves. He approaches his son and says that he is very grateful, and he didn't know what would have happened if Yi-yun hadn't arrived on time. He looks very injured. He thanked the elder for freeing them. After that, Elder Q himself comes up to him and tells him that Yi should not be so formal. And then he says that he came here at Yao Er's request. because she repeatedly asked Elder Kyu to thank the young master. From behind, we are shown Qin Yao, who says that she has found an outstanding genius. Then he turns to Yi Yun and gives him the golden gap, and says that if Yi Yun ever changes his mind and wants to practice in the Kaiwan sect, then he can use the golden brooch and go to the entrance exam. Yi Yun thinks about the suggestion and realizes that sooner or later, in order to absorb more experience points, sooner or later, he will have to leave this place and go to the Kaiwan sect as an alternative. Then he says thank you, and in the next second, Elder Kyu says he's leaving. Azure waves appear around him, and he disappears. After that, a warrior runs up and tells the head that no one died on their side, but everyone who wanted to go to the secret cave was seriously injured and will not be able to go to the cave. We will learn that the opening of the barrier will take place in 7 days, but Yi Yun tells them not to worry about it, and that he has some treasures and uses the system storage. And immediately everyone has a box. Yi Yun says it's a high-end medicinal elixir. Everyone is in shock. Chapter E asks where Yun got so many potions from. He says he accidentally got it. Some of the potions he collected from the Wild Horse Gang and sent them to the vault. And then he says that these elixirs will not only help heal wounds, but also go to the next stage of the abode of Blood Kai. Everyone is very happy and grateful to the young master. We are transported to the Black Moon mountain range 7 days later. Yi Yun, his father, and some other warriors are heading towards the secret cave. Because of such a strong aura, blue flames can be seen everywhere. They walk confidently, preparing to enter. But someone behind them says that they haven't seen each other for a long time. Referring to Chapter E, we see a different family. At the front is Zhu Yuanlei, who has the 6th degree of the Blood Kai abode. He asks where Grand Elder Yi Chang is, because he was the one who used to take the Yi family here. Next to him is his son, Zhuxian. Then the head of the Yi family calls Yi Chang a scoundrel and says that they kicked him out of the family. After that, we are shown a very muscular and tall man. This is Zhen Yinfei, the head of the Zhen family. He's holding a giant mace. He is in the 7th degree of the abode of Blood Kai. He scoffs that only such a group can be allowed by the great Yi family, and says that the Yi family has fallen into decline. Standing next to him is Zhen Tianlong, the son of Zhen Yinfeng. After Zhuxian says that compared to this year, their situation has improved a lot, and now they don't need special care. And he says that before, as soon as a group of the Yi family entered the cave, they were attacked by spiritual beasts, and if it wasn't for their people, they would have died long ago. Some were deliberately. Yi Yun says that special care is still needed this year. After we are shown Group E, they are all standing up, and Yi Yun says that they will take special care. There is a surge of energy from behind the counter, and the entire Zhen family group almost falls over. Chapter Zhen Yinfeng says that how is this possible, and that the entire E group is at the 3rd degree of the abode of Blood Kai. Everyone is in shock and does not understand how family members were able to move to the next level in a few days. Yi Yun asks why they are so surprised, and why they haven't lifted the seal on the Black Moon secret cave yet, while chuckling. After that, Zhen Yinfeng shouts that they will see who needs help. After that, Yi Yun says that they will take a look now, and then all 3 heads of families begin to open the barrier. The barrier is removed, and everyone runs into the cave. We are taken inside the secret cave of the Black Moon. There is a lot of spiritual energy in this cave, which means that they will pump faster here. One of the Yi family's group says that with the help of a spiritual herb, the cultivation power will increase a lot. A notification window appeared. It says that there are many sacred treasures a kilometer to the northwest. Yi Yun is very satisfied that with the help of hints, he can easily find treasures to raise his cultivation. After that, he tells his group to come back before sunset, and then they jump into the depths of the forest. The Changhe assassins tell their young master that it's time for them to speed up, because all the treasures can go to the Yi family. But he says that he is using Group E as a scout, and if they find a danger, they will have to deal with it, and the exhausted Group E will not be able to resist if they are suddenly attacked. The Changhe family's assassins say that if they kill Yi Yun, the Yi family won't just let it go. But the young man starts laughing like a madman and says that this place is teeming with dangerous monsters and that no one can prove their guilt. But all the assassins fall to their knees and say that the young master is very wise. And then he starts saying that if they say that they were killed by a beast, then no one will suspect that they did it. In the next second, Yi Yun appears from behind him and holds a sword to Zhu's throat, saying that he did something like that. All the assassins stand up and order Yi Yun to let go of the master. Zhu says that Yi Yang doesn't have the guts to do anything, and then Yi Yang throws the hostage into a group of enemies. He is immediately attacked by assassins, but he kills enemies with lightning strikes. Ju says, how did Yi Yun dare to do this? Yi Yun says that it can not only injure, but also kill. Afterward, Ju says that if Yi Yun kills him now, then his father will definitely come for revenge and kill the entire Yi family. Yi Yun agrees with his words, but says that how will they prove that it was he who killed Ju is very angry. Yi Yun says that this place is full of monsters, and that if they say that a beast did it, then no one will think that it did it. Hearing this, Ju is terrified and tries to run away, calling Yi Yun a madman. But Yi Yun grabs his head and tells him not to rush. And then it makes a takeover, calling it a special care. Ju splashes blood and screams in pain. We are shown the ridge where the demonic beast stands. A four-toothed wolf that howls at the full greenish moon. Swords, katanas, and sabers are stuck everywhere. And then we see Group E deal with the last wolf. There are dead wolves everywhere. The whole ground is spattered with blood, and then they start collecting loot. They were second-order demon wolf pack crystals. One of the group asks Yi Yun where they should go next, but Yi Yun is looking at the stats status window. He is disappointed because his leveling speed is too slow, because along the way he absorbed monsters and treasures, as well as other groups of the Zhu family, but only went to the 5th degree of the Blood Kai abode. But his experience points are still not enough. Suddenly, a notification window appears. It said that there was a third-order spiritual elixir and green sacred fruit 300 meters to the southwest. Yi Yun was excited after all. With a third-order sacred material, only a king-level martial artist could be obtained. Immediately, he went to this place, said that he would be back soon. He was worried about his group, because such a treasure is protected by ferocious and dangerous beasts. We are being carried to the bottom of the cliff. In the cliff, you can see a tree without leaves, and bats fly around it. The entire canyon is surrounded by fog, where nothing can be seen. After that, we see green sacred fruits, spiritual elixirs of the third order. A flock of bats are sleeping in a nearby tree. Yi Yun says that they are Grimwind bats, third-order demonic beasts. He was very curious about how strong these mice were. He also called them an investment in experience points, and then jumped to this tree. The grim tree bats began to use sonic attacks. Due to their overflowing power, they were surrounded by a red glow. But Yi Yun also had a sonic attack, and with it, he stuns all the bats. You can see how powerful his ability is. And then with accurate and lightning-fast attacks, he kills all the mice. Without even opening his eyes, he calmly deals with all the enemies. All the mice fall to the ground dead. After killing everyone, he jumps towards the tree but when he stepped on the ground, a giant jaw came out from under it, which almost killed Yi Yun, but managed to jump away and escape. A large number of third-order demonic beasts, black-scaled crocodiles, were gathered around Yi Yun. But he jumps on the sword and makes a giant push that simultaneously stuns everyone with a crocodile, after which he attracts the sword and uses the sword technique of spiritual radiance, and countless blades appear around him, which kill all demonic beasts. Due to the number of blades, a tornado formed, which devoured the remaining beasts, and after he uses group absorption, the notification window appears, which says that the group absorption is completed, and 500,000 experience points have been received. Another window appeared that said that he had obtained the 7th degree of the Blood Kai abode. Yi Yun leveled up 2 levels at once. After all this, he goes to the tree where the green sacred elixirs grow. But at that moment, someone will attack Yi Yun. It turns out to be an old acquaintance. This is Zhen Yinfeng, who attacked Yi Yun with his group. He says that he has long since put his eyes on these green sacred fruits, and advised that Yi Yun should leave if his life is precious to him. Yi Yun was worried and didn't expect this. After that, he stretched out his hand and started using the technique, his hand wrapped in dark matter. He said that Zhen Yinfeng couldn't do anything by provoking him. The giant fell for the provocation and attacked Yi Yun, shouting that such a loser wouldn't be able to do anything. Swinging the giant mace, he already hits Yi Yun, but his strike is stopped by the defensive barrier. Yi Yun asks that this is all he can do. The giant doesn't understand anything, and before he can say anything, Yi Yun dodges with quick movements and lightly hits the big man's side, causing him to fly away on the ground, scattering blood. The impact was so strong that a shock wave formed around Yi Yun, and the entire area where they were standing was cracked. After that, Zhen Yinfeng flies into the wall, and a giant cloud of smoke is formed. Zhen Yinfeng's group were worried and started calling out to the young master. Yi Yun says that Zhen will lose his life if he touches anything he wants. He gestures for people to approach him, teasing their enemies. We are shown a boy completely covered in scratches and wounds. His eyes are tight and angry. He says that he is very interested. But Yi Yun won't be able to get out of the gorge alive. He wipes the blood from his mouth and takes out a red pill, and immediately swallows it. Yi Yun doesn't understand what it is, but he's worried that anything can happen. We are shown a fully restored Zhen Yunfeng. It was a pill that gives incredible power. He gritted his teeth, his eyes turned completely white, and veins bulged all over his body. His muscles grew several times, causing all of his clothes to rip apart except for his groin. His aura became so much bigger and stronger that it engulfed him completely like fire. His hair stood on end, and he began to laugh furiously. The ground began to crack under his feet. Then he shouted that Yi Yun was definitely going to die today. Two of Zhen Yunfeng's group started discussing what the head had eaten. It was a second-order blood Kai elixir. Eating it temporarily triples its power. The giant took the mace in his hands and was preparing to strike, saying that he was giving Yi Yun another chance. If he knelt down and called him father, he would have mercy and spare his life. As he spoke, his eyes began to sparkle. Yi Yun was standing in front of him, and it felt like he was standing against a cliff. But Yi Yun, with a smirk on his face, told Zhen Yunfeng to enjoy the last minute of his life, and that he was going to make him run off to daddy's house in tears. Meanwhile, outside the cave, 3 heads were standing at the entrance. One of them said they should be back soon. He was worried about his son Yun'er. He was so worried that he was dripping with sweat. But at this moment, the head of the Chang family says that he is too silent, and asks if he's worried about his son. There's a smirk on his face. He says that there are a lot of monsters inside the cave, and that it is quite normal to get out of there injured. But he also says that even if the group does not meet monsters, sooner or later, everyone will fight among themselves for treasures. The head of the Zhen family says that they are on their own, and that if one of them gets hurt or dies, it will only be their fault and a sign of weakness. He says this while laughing. The heads are standing at the back and are concerned about these words. After that, the head of the family, Zhuxiang, says that these rules were sent by the ancestors, and they must comply with them, and that he hoped that he wouldn't be offended if his son and group came dead. The head of the Yi family says that he is really worried about his son, but not about his safety, but that Yi Yun will have so much fun that he won't want to go back, and in the end, he laughs. After that, there is an explosion and a roar at the gate. From the mysterious Black Moon Cave, Zhen's group flies out. They are all injured, and some have already lost consciousness. Senbai Chief Zhen shouts the name of his son Longer, his eyes filled with worry. His son falls unconscious next to him. He's bleeding out. A father picks up his son and asks if he's okay and what's going on. A rumble can be seen from behind, and the remaining Zhen group also flies and falls to the ground. Longer opens his eyes and barely speaks, trembling as he says that he is in pain. He does not stop saying that he is in pain, and after barely saying that it was Yi Yun who did it, that it was all his fault, the father examines his son and realizes that all his bones are broken, as well as there are numerous injuries. He is very concerned about his situation and well-being. After Yi Yun is shown walking out of the mysterious Black Moon Cave with a sword on his back, Yi's group also follows him out. He turns to Chapter Zhen and says that his son cried for him in the cave, and that he had kindly agreed to take him out of the cave to see his father. And he said that Senbai didn't have to thank him. But he does not pay attention to his words, but is still concerned about his son and tries to bring him to his senses, shouting so that he wakes up. Then he turns to Yi Yun and says with an angry look on his face that he will definitely take revenge and tear him to pieces. The head of the Chang family is shouting and pointing, asking Yi Yun what's going on here, and why only the Yi family's group came out of the secret cave of the Black Cave, and where is the Zhu family's group. Yi Yun scoffingly says that he gave them special care, and that the secret cave was so dangerous that even he couldn't take care of his family's safety, and that his son and the group must have been attacked by a terrible demonic beast. The head looked very worried and anxious. He started yelling at Yi Yun that he was and used dirty tricks to hurt his son. And if he hadn't used it, why hadn't his son come out yet? Yi Yun looks calm. He turns to Zhen Yunfeng and asks him why he still hasn't come to his senses, and that he needs to kill Yi Yun, and that he was too dangerous for their families. Jing ignores this and walks with a very depressed look. The head of the Yi family asks why Chang'e doesn't follow the previously established rules, and why did they even touch on this thing? Because earlier he himself said that the head of Yi would not be offended if this happens to his son. Chang'e tells Yi Wushwang not to blame him, that he wants to apologize, and that he's going to kill his son for everything he's done. But before he can finish the word, Yi Yun grabs him by the throat and lifts him off the ground. He says that if Chang'e doesn't follow the rules, then he won't play by the rules either, and then squeezes his throat. Chang'e dies in hellish misery without saying a word or making a sound. Zhen Yingfeng, who was passing by, noticed this and couldn't believe his eyes, because Yi Yun was able to kill Chang instantly. we are shown a dead Changi, covered in blood, and his mouth open wider than usual. His eyes are white, and his cap has fallen down beside him. Yi-young then lets Changi go and says that Jen is next, and thanks him for not interfering. Jing Yingfeng is so bold that he tells him not to be arrogant, and he quickly tries to hit Yi-yun with a spear. Yi-yun is cold-blooded and doesn't hesitate to block with his sword and doesn't get hit. After that, Jen jumps on Yang, trying to kick him, and also promises to kick his, but Yun parries the attack, saying that Jin is a complete and will never be able to hit him. Before he knows it, the goon notices Yi-yun standing above him, marveling at his speed, and asks how Yi-yun was able to dodge his attacks. Yi-yun makes an attack and says that he is too slow. Jen Yili blocks the attack and realizes that he can't keep up with his attacks. In the next second, Yi-yun is in front of the big guy and says that he is too weak and slow, and immediately uses the technique. It looks like a shadow strike that breaks Jang's spear. This makes Jang shout "my spear" in disbelief, and then he makes numerous attacks on Jang and shouts that he just died and stopped resisting. We are shown Jang dropping dead. He manages to cry out in pain. Group 7E is worried about their master. They also admire him, saying that he is too strong and powerful. Jang stands up and says that he never thought that he would lose to such a weakling. He also says that for hundreds of years, the three great families lived in harmony and tranquility, but now Yi-yun is destroying it, and that if the other two families join forces, will he be able to withstand it? Yi-yun says that he is absolutely right, and that he can still defeat them, because they remain just as weak. Jang, who understands the whole situation, says that if Yi-yun spares him, he will serve the Yi family, and even be able to pull strings in the Zhu family. Yi-yun praises Jen for his good speech, and says that the three great seven have been at peace for too long, and he says that from now on, there will only be one main family in Bayan, and it's 7 Yizhu who hear the words, starts shouting and expresses dissatisfaction. Yi-young says that the Zhu and Zhen families have been using trips to the secret cave for years to secretly, or openly, members of the Yi family. Yi-yun stretches out his hand. Dark energy appears around it, and says that they all need to go to hell for their crimes. Jen lying down and shouting asks Yi-yun to stop. After being absorbed, Jen dies.
The action takes place in the city of Bayan in the estate of the Zhu family. Be careful with fire and candles in hot weather, someone shouted. Then we see Han Li, the right-hand man of the Wild Horse Gang, asking how much longer they have to wait. Then we see Zhu Tianhao, who is Zhu Yuanlei's brother. Tianhao asked Commander Han not to get angry since their master hadn't given the signal yet, they would have to wait a little longer. Han was aggressive. He asked if they hired the Wild Horse Gang but didn't believe that they could deal with the Zhen and Yi families. Han asked if they didn't trust him and his guys. Tianhao said that Commander Han is very good at martial arts, so of course they trust them. However, Tianhao said that in order for everything to go right, they should wait for their master's plan to succeed and then start acting. Each of the families chose their own elite members who went on a treasure hunt for the secret cave. Tianhao said that following their plan, once the Black Moon treasure hunt was over and the Zhen family relaxed their vigilance, their master would deal a fatal blow to Zhen Yingfeng, and then they would come to the rescue. He said that then they would only need to kill the heads of the families and their main forces, because then the rest of the mass, left without masters, would have no reason to disobey. Han Lai exclaimed that he understood. The commander then said that they, the so-called prestigious and righteous people, use tricks that are much dirtier than the tricks of people like Han Lai. Tianhao said that the end justifies any means, but if the city authorities find out about it, they will have to ask Commander Han to take the hit. With a crazy smile, Han Lai said that they didn't have to worry about that, since they had paid them, they would take care of everything. Then, he suddenly took out his sword. Han decided to immediately warn them that his saber liked blood the most. Han Lai said that therefore, when he starts killing, he doesn't need to be stopped. Tianhao said that if Commander Han could help him get rid of the Zhen and Yi families today, he would be only too happy. Why should I stop you? Tianhao asked with a smile. Commander Han said that today he would show them what the Wild Horse Gang was like. Suddenly, someone barged in and said that they wouldn't be able to slaughter his Yi family. It was Yoyan. He said that they wouldn't be able to do it, at least with this level of martial arts. They were shocked and wondered about when Yoyan came in. Since you came here by yourself, then die. Commander Han shouted. They then attacked Yoyan. However, the hero managed to jump back. Yoyan just chuckled and thought about how they wouldn't be fooled. He then attacked Commander Han Lai, after which, he struck down Yi Tianhao with a punch. The man started coughing up blood and flew backwards from the impact. Then, everyone else decided to kill Yoyang as well. The hero exclaimed that they were all going to die today. A life and death battle had begun. Tianhao was terrified, running away and crying out for help. When he came out of the house, he saw that all of his subordinates had fallen. Suddenly, another subordinate fell down from above, which scared Tianhao even more. He wondered in horror how this was possible. Yoyang suddenly appeared behind him and said that he had completely forgotten to tell him something. Yoyang said that Tianhao's people went to hell. The battlefield was littered with fallen Tianhao subordinates, all of whom had been slain in the battle with Yaoyang. The hero said that the Zhu and Zhang families, as well as the Wild Horse Gang, had made 3 fatal mistakes. Tianhao was terrified, but after a moment, he became angry and threw something at the hero. However, Yoyoung caught it. Yoyoung said that the first mistake was that they shouldn't have provoked the Yi family. Tianhao was terrified. Yoyoung shattered the iron spearhead with just one hand. And then he said that their second mistake was that they shouldn't have even thought about being able to compete with the Yi family, after which he said that the third mistake they were facing right now was that they angered the vengeful Yayan. Tianhao started shouting that killing them wouldn't do him any good, because then the mayor would start proceedings. In that case, according to Tianhao, the Yi family will be in trouble. Yoyan said that everyone who disobeys will have to die today. With that, Yayan killed Tianhao. Then, suddenly, people appeared behind them. Yoyoung said that his father was just in time. Yoyoung said that he would leave the rest to them since he needed to visit the Zhang family. The excited man asked if this was still the young master they knew. Yoyoung's father said that he was worried about his son getting carried away. And so, we are transported to the events that occur 3 days later. An old man told the head and young master that the forces of the Zhu and Zhang families involved in killing the Yi family's disciples had been destroyed. The old man said that now all the Beiyan clans are saying that they will look up to the Yi family. There was a lot of gold, including expensive jewelry. Yoyoung thanked his uncle. The chief said that they were lucky to escape from danger this time because of Yayan's vindictiveness. The chief said that if it wasn't for Yayan's quick mind, then perhaps the Yi family would have disappeared from Beiyan City completely. Suddenly, someone came running into the room, shouting. This guy told the head that the mayor was summoning the young master to his residence for questioning. Then we see that Yayan has already come to the mayor's office. Yoyoung, standing there, thought about the fact that the mayor's residence had a lot of security. Then Yoyoung saw a man sitting with his back to him and wondered if this was the mayor. Yoyoung introduced himself and said that he was glad to meet the mayor. Suddenly, a lot of shells were fired at him. Yoyoung immediately used defense. Mayor, what is this supposed to mean? Yoyoung asked indignantly. The mayor said that Yoyoung is a good fighter and has fast reflexes. He then added that Yayan was still so young, yet he was already able to reach the 9th degree of the blood Kai abode. He said that it was no wonder Yoyoung was able to defeat 2 great families, Zhu and Zheng. The mayor said that Yoyoung is really strong. Behind Mayor Fang Lei was his daughter, Fang Yalan. Yoyoung then asked if Lei really planned to press charges. Mayor Lei didn't answer directly, but asked what Yoyoung would do if Lei confirmed it. Yoyoung asked if even if they originally wanted to kill the entire Yi family, they should have stood there and not fought back. Yoyoung said that blind patience turns people into bullying targets. He then added that if the mayor doesn't understand even that much, then Yoyoung thinks it's time to change the mayor. The mayor called Yayan a scoundrel. Their eyes clashed as the situation escalated. Suddenly, Lei said that he urgently needed eye drops because his eyes were dry. His daughter gave him the drops. Yoyoung felt a little uneasy and wondered what was going on. Lei said that he was on the verge of death and his body could no longer withstand the use of energy. Lei asked the young man not to laugh. Lei then added that Yoyoung was already very bold. The mayor asked him not to worry and said that he had not called Yoyoung for questioning. The mayor said he had ordered an investigation into the incident between the Yi, Zhang and Zhu families. Lei knew that the Zhang and Zhu families wanted to collude with the Wild Horse gang to kill innocent people. Lei said that no one would be sorry if such devious people died. Yoyoung asked why the mayor had invited him here today. Lei said it was because he had a request for Yoyoung. The mayor said that he wanted Yayoung to protect his daughter, Yalan, on the way to the Kaiyuan sect in Qingyang. Judging from the reaction, even Yalan didn't know about this. Yayoung suddenly remembered that old man seemed to have said something about the Kaiyuan sect. Yalan got angry and started shouting that her father had promised her that he wouldn't send her anywhere. She asked him why he was sending her to the Kaiyuan sect now. Lei said that she was no longer a child and it was time for her to live alone, especially since Lei's health is getting worse and he can no longer be distracted by taking care of her. Lei said that her talent surpassed his and he had nothing else to teach her. According to him, she would only be able to become stronger in the Kaiyuan sect. Lei said that he had also found a reliable partner for her. Yayoung suddenly turned to the mayor and said that it didn't seem like he had promised him to go to the Kaiyuan sect. Lei said that joining the Kaiyuan sect would only benefit Yayoung. The mayor said that Yayoung is certainly strong, otherwise Elder Q wouldn't like him, but the Yi family can't rely on Yayoung to stand on their own 2 feet forever. He began to talk about how a short-term surge of power could indeed hold back the 2 great families, but it was only a temporary solution. Other families will inevitably start a riot, and then there will be another family that will be similar to the Zhang and Zhu families. Lei said that Yayoung can't protect the Yi family all the time, but more importantly, according to Lei, there are a lot of martial artists in the world. Lei thought that with his strength and talent, Yoyoung wouldn't want to stay in this small town forever. The mayor said that Yi's family would only hinder Yayoung's growth. He asked Yayoung what he would say if Lei swore an oath and guaranteed that the Yi family would not be attacked or threatened as long as Lei was the head of Beiyan City. However, the mayor put forward his own condition, which states that Yayoung must promise that he will protect his little Yalan and return her safely. Yoyoung said that he felt that Mayor Fang had misunderstood something. Yoyoung said that the Yi family is no longer the same as it once was and doesn't need anyone's protection, including the mayor's protection. What an impertinence, Lei exclaimed indignantly. The hero suddenly snapped his fingers. At the same time, swords were raised to the guards' throats. Everyone was shocked that Yoyoung's men had appeared so suddenly and unnoticed. Yoyoung apologized to Mayor Finn. Yalan stood in front of her father and indignantly asked Yoyoung what he was doing. Yoyoung's men, meanwhile, told him that they had taken control of the mayor's residence. At the same time, there were also people standing outside the mayor's residence, waiting outside and ready to carry out any order from the young master. Yoyoung asked what they thought of the Yi family's strength now. He asked again if they still needed someone to protect them. The mayor thought that it was unbelievable, because all these people are at the 7th degree of the blood Kai abode. He thought about how they hid their auras so well that even Lei didn't notice them. The mayor wondered how they were able to achieve this so quickly. Yoyoung said that the previous Yi family, whose internal conflicts had split her apart, was no longer there. According to the hero, the current Yi family won't be bullied. Yoyoung said that no one can stop the Yi family from becoming stronger. Mayor Fang smiled and said that he seemed to have misjudged the situation. However, Yoyoung said that Lei was right about one thing. Lei asked excitedly what he was right about. Yoyoung said that there are many martial artists in the world, and it's time to test their strength. Lei called Yoyoung a scoundrel and said that since he couldn't convince him like that, he would have to use his trump card. Yoyoung was prepared for Lei to attack. However, Lei suddenly hugged Yoyoung and tearfully asked why a strong youth like Yoyoung would bully such a weak cripple like him. The mayor said that he tried so hard to raise his daughter. He asked if Yoyoung thought it was that easy. He said he only wanted to protect her.